your time and welcome to a very beautiful morning here in Andalusia, where I might just yesterday have discovered the most beautiful driving road in all of Andalusia, maybe in all of Spain, maybe all together, I don't know, but I loved it really. So what you have to do is you go to a place called Coin. Well, first you get to Andalusia, of course, but then you get to a place called Coin. Making this up, that's the real name. And once you're there, you look for a road that's called A366, and that goes towards a city called Ronda. And then A366 from Coin to Ronda. So far my top road here. Really good. Unfortunately, the thing that's not so good is the car that I'm using. The car that I'm currently using is the 430 X-Drive 430i X-Drive Grand Coupe. It's based on the previous 3 Series, and first of all the age shows. This cockpit really, these plastic buttons. There's stitching here, it looks like it's stitched, but it's really hard plastic too. Not really the best quality, not really the best of looks. Cheap plastic here, everywhere, but then again it's on its way out. It's an old model, so I don't want to trash it exactly for these reasons, because that's not what my major issue about with this car is about. What I have a problem with is the engine gearbox combination. Okay, let me start with it this way. When I ordered the car for this trip, I chose the category. I'm not really sure what the name of the category is, but it's like it says like 430, 435. Now this used to be the category that you choose if you want to have a 6-cylinder. Last time I chose this category, I got the Audi S5 Sportback, which was a fantastic car. But then more and more, even in 5 Series, X3s, the lot, every time I ordered one of these cars, I was getting this, what it says 430, 530 X30, which is actually not a 6-cylinder, but a 4-cylinder turbo. I think it's supposed to be a replacement for a 6-cylinder engine. And on the face of it, it's probably not a bad idea. I mean, you chop off 2 cylinders, and what you get is A, better fuel economy. I mean, I averaged 6 liters or 5.9 liters 100 kilometers on my way down here, since this is BMW and they put the engines like in back of the front axle. You chop off 2 cylinders, you put more weight towards the center of the car, so that's a good thing too. And so on the face of it, it's like, okay, if you get the same power, why not? That seems like a reasonable thing to do. On paper it might have the same power, but in reality there's some good stuff in the low revs. It's okay, but with setting off in very low revs, it's kind of okay. And then there's some power between, say, 3.5, 4 to 5,000 RPM. If you ever have driven a naturally aspirated straight 6, the engine this is supposed to replace, that's not how this feels. And there are other issues as well. A 4-cylinder is never as smooth as a straight 6, or as any 6-cylinder engine for that matter, E46 BMW, there was a 320, and that was a 2.2 liter or 2.179 straight six engine. You didn't buy this engine for power. You just bought it because it was an entry-level straight six. It was an entry-level six-cylinder. These engines are completely gone. There's an C300 and E300 Mercedes, which is also just a four-cylinder turbo. The most powerful engine you can have in a Jaguar XE is a 2.0 turbo. Audi does this too, but I have lost complete track about the Audi engine designations. But they're all doing that. It all seems to be a little bit misleading to me. And it's just like you're saying that these four-cylinder turbo engines, they are not a replacement for straight sixes, or for V6s, or for any six-cylinder for this matter.
6.5 hours later.
I don't really like that. I think by now you can tell. Yeah, so that was my four-cylinder turbocharged engine rant.
Back in Berlin, I asked a friend of mine if I can take his E93 330 six-cylinder for a spin, so I can compare it to the four-cylinder in the 430.
Yeah, even at no rest, this engine is very, very smooth. It now tells me I should go to third. Okay. The way the thing turns, the revs up is very, very nice. Very seamless. Really interesting. Wow. It sounds so nice. It's constantly changing gear. It's constantly... It doesn't rev out the gear I'm in. No, it changed again. It changed again. And anytime I'm going just near the throttle somewhere, it's changing down like 2 or 3 gears because there's no power anywhere. But maybe just for the sake of argument, let's say there are people who say, okay, I want a new one. So they're going to look at this and they're going to say, okay, that's called a 430. I had a 330. It's kind of the same car. It has kind of the same power, and I mean, there are some advantages. I give it that. It's not all trash or anything. It's really like, for instance, the fuel consumption. It's bizarrely economical. If someone looks to replace its old six-cylinder, then I mean, I couldn't really recommend this one. This is the same type of engine they put in small cars, like in a Renault or in an Opel Corsa or in a Peugeot or something like that. And this is not what I want to pay 60 grand for.
After we've driven both cars, I asked him if he would trade in his straight six for the four-cylinder turbo in the 430. He just laughed and said, definitely not.
So it didn't really win over the heart of an owner of a six-cylinder engine. So, and I just have to stop talking now, sure, because there's a Ferrari passing us. What a nice car. A GTC for Lusso. Nice. I wouldn't have bought that one in red though, but yeah, it's okay. But anyway, what was I talking about? Really. So, it didn't really win over the heart of an owner of a six-cylinder engine. And having driven both of these cars, I have to agree with him. So it's not really an option. It's not really a replacement for a six-cylinder, in my opinion. I haven't really read an article about it. But I can imagine in a car magazine that just like, nobody will miss the straight six. This is a complete replacement for it. It's brilliant. 10 out of 10. This is all the engine you need. Whatever they come up with. You will miss the six-cylinder engine, definitely. If you just want all the engine that you need, then why not go for a 420i? You're not putting down 60 grand and buying this sort of car because you need it. It's because you want it, okay? And something that you really want should be something that you really desire, and something that makes you feel special, or something that feels special. And as the dude with the 330 pointed out, an engine that feels like an engine from a Vauxhall Corsa doesn't really make you feel special. So what can you do? Where do you go from here? If you already own a 6-cylinder engine and you don't mind the repairs or the risk of repairs, then it's probably best to just keep it. If you want a new car and you want a replacement, a proper replacement for a 6-cylinder, so one thing you could do is, this thing, as I was saying earlier, is on its way out. So I've looked around and you can get this at quite a big discount. So what you could do is you buy for 440. Look for a car that has all the options that you want. There's plenty on offer at the moment, and get it at a big discount. Go for the Sport line or the M package, so you can get the M Sport brake, which I think is a pretty good option because I did not have a lot of confidence in these brakes. Try to get the adaptive suspensions. The head-up display is a good thing, and yeah, I would opt in for a sunshine roof and adaptive cruise control. So I rebuilt this car in the car configurator, this particular car here, and I came out at about 60 grand. And for the same money, you can have a Kia Stinger with like all options ticked, like every box ticked, everything. And that one also has a 3.3 liter V6 with over 100 horsepower more than this. Audi starts out at 100 grand, or the base price for the RS5 is 80 grand. BMW M340 is not out yet, but I think if you spec it up, you end up at 80 to 85 grand. Another thing that you can do, if you live in a place where you have roads like the one that I was driving in Spain, an M2, if you strip it like bare, if you don't choose any options whatsoever, you go for the manual, you just want the car, you end up at 62 grand, so that's about the same as this, and that's an M2 competition, I think, even, so that has more than 400 HP. That would be probably a good option as well.